Most people will get in trouble with their partner or their workplaces if they see the words crotch strap in your search history, but as scuba divers, we actually have a legitimate excuse, depending on which result you actually click on after that search, but a crotch strap can be very handy for a diver for a few reasons. Hi all of you awesome scuba divers out there, welcome to the Scuba Diver Magazine channel, your favourite place for the latest scuba diving news and gear reviews. This one's for subscriber Christopher Marshall, who asked for a closer look at crotch straps. I presume how to assemble them properly, that is, nothing otherwise. Once you've got your hands on a crotch strap for your BCD, it is pretty easy to attach it onto your backplate or just the BCD itself, but of course you want to make sure that it's secure and it's not going to just fall off and dangle, and you want to make sure that you're attaching it the right way. You obviously need training and equipment to visit the underwater realm, the vibrant underwater coral reefs and awe-inspiring marine life, and scuba.com is your gateway. Whether you're a seasoned explorer or a curious newcomer, their online platform offers everything you need to embark on unforgettable scuba diving adventures. From top-tier scuba gear to expert advice, scuba.com has you covered. Explore their extensive collection of dive equipment, carefully curated to suit divers of all levels. Also connect with a community of passionate divers through either their dive clubs in the US or their international diving trips. Scuba.com organises trips to all of the finest dive sites from the Galapagos to Fiji. Don't just dream about the ocean's hidden beauty, experience it firsthand. Visit scuba.com today and unlock a world of underwater adventure. There are two common crotch straps in scuba diving. The first one is on front entry dry suits, but I'm not going to be talking very much about them today. They basically hold the telescopic torso down during the dive so it doesn't ride up, but the big one is going to be on your BCD. The first benefit of a crotch strap is to prevent the BCD itself from riding up, especially when you're upright, like when you're on the surface. If you're relying on the air in your BCD to float on the surface, then all that air wants to do is to go up, whilst your weight belt that's attached around your waist wants to go down, and that can end up with a BCD up around your ears. A crotch strap is going to help prevent that, so when your body starts to drop away from the BCD, the crotch strap holds you in place. A crotch strap also adds some handy storage options. Where they attach to the backplate, you can add a D-ring that we affectionately call the butt D-ring. We're not too imaginative with our names. It's right above your butt, so we call it a butt D-ring. An extra D-ring that you can just clip things to is really handy, and it's nice and out of the way. You can't clip anything too large to it, or nothing that sinks, because it's going to go between your legs. If it floats, it's not too bad, but it's an extra D-ring, two extra D-rings if you actually have a V or a Y-shaped crotch strap that are becoming a bit more popular. You're seeing them on more backplates nowadays where you have two attachment points at the back, one at the front, so you have like a V or a Y-shaped crotch strap. You also get one more D-ring on the front. That's there for when you're being pulled by something like a DPV, or if you're attached to a reef hook or a john line. You could attach them to your shoulder D-ring, but it's going to be a bit lopsided. I've seen some people use like two for like reef hooks and whatnot, so that you attach them to both and you're like flying like Superman, but that central crotch D-ring is nice and central and it gets the job done. You can buy prefabbed crotch straps. That's how most divers buy them, as like an extra part, because the loop and the front D-ring are quite often stitched in place. I mean, I suppose you could use a tri-glider, but yeah, it is better just to have that extra reinforcing. And yeah, I'm personally not particularly good with a sewing machine. The webbing itself is a softer, thinner nylon webbing than the one that's on like a main harness, which can be quite stiff. You don't want that going between your legs. It's usually a standard 2-inch in width, but it's much thinner and softer material, so it doesn't rub anywhere delicate. You can find thinner 1 inch and 1.5 inch straps because some backplates only have slots thinner than 2 inches. And I suppose if you don't have that much thigh gap, then yeah, you might want something a little bit thinner, but you have to weigh up, well, yeah, you've only got 1 inch. If something's pulling on it, I'd prefer something a little bit wider. The front D-ring is a standard flat 2-inch D-ring, depending on the width of the strap. If it's a thinner one, then it might be a little bit smaller, and I have seen some just complete circle rings on the front. That one usually stitched in place, so it's a real strong anchor point. The butt D-ring is the same. It's like 2 inches wide and it's flat, but you have a tri-glider to hold it in place and to lock it onto the back plate. Some have pinch clips at the front for quick release. You attach one part to your waistband and then you unclip it. And some have some like quick adjustment as well if you really want it. I've never found it that much of an issue to just unthread the waistband. It's basically your quick release buckle just loops through this loop. I've never found that too tricky that I'd need a quick release buckle, but hey, the choice is yours. Fitting a crotch strap is simple to a backplate, mainly a proper metal backplate. You won't be able to fit a crotch strap to just any old BCD because most recreational BCDs don't have a mounting point at the bottom. Some do though. So of course, before you invest in one, double check that that your actual backplate does have a little slot at the bottom that you can thread a backplate through. Double check that you have it the right way around. First of all, lay everything down out in front of you. It can be different for divers. I like to have it so like the back is downwards, so that way all the D-rings are facing the desk. You don't want the D-rings on the inside, you want them on the outside obviously. And you first of all need to thread the tri-glider and the butt D-ring into place. If you forget to do that, then you're just gonna have to unthread the work that you're doing in a little bit. You can be quite rough at this point. It doesn't have to be the perfect length. You just need to like get everything in place and then you can adjust everything in a minute. Just give yourself about 30 centimeters of slack for where that D-ring is on the end of that webbing, and then thread that through the back of the back plate forwards, so that the end of the webbing is going to be on the inside. You can put it on the outside if you like, but it's going to dangle on the outside and it might get in the way of something if you're trying to find the D-ring and there's a little like sort of excess tab of that webbing. It might get in the way, but hey, you do you. Personally, I put it on the inside. Once it's through the back plate, then kind of loosen up, give yourself some breathing space through that tri-glider, because you're going to have to thread it through that tri-glider and around that D-ring. You're like doubling it up and then tightening everything up. Now, once that's kind of locked in place, it's pretty much attached. That's all you need to do. But now, try it on wearing what you'll be wearing in the water. So if you're going to be wearing a dry suit and an undersuit, it's best to put that on. Try doing it in the winter time if you can wait that long. Otherwise, it's just boil in a bag. You just have to try it on basically. Pop your BCD on, reach between your legs, and I do a little like sway to get it to pendulum forwards so that I can grab it, and then lift it up, and your waistband just threads through that loop. It does need to be quite snug. I know snug isn't a unit of measurement, but you don't want to rearrange anything delicate or sturdy down there, but you don't want the strap so loose that you move around when it's even installed. It does have to be quite snug. It shouldn't pull your waistband down too much. I know some divers do like a little bit of movement, like an inch or so when it's actually attached. It pulls the waistband down about an inch. Others, they say if you actually attach your waistband and then pull the crotch strap up, you should get like a few centimeters above the waistband, and that's their kind of sweet spot. Whatever's comfortable to you. basically. Measure how much slack you can remove. If you've got more than a few centimeters above the waistband, then you know that you have to remove that amount. I tend to pinch it at the front to see roughly how much needs to be removed, and also take note of that. Note sort of roughly how many centimeters or inches you need to take off, and feel behind you to feel for where you'd naturally like find that butt D-ring. Similar to your shoulder straps, just kind of like blind, try and feel where that butt D-ring is, and wherever you're feeling, that's kind of where you want that butt D-ring. If it's too high or too low, then you can move that tri-glider, just kind of feel for that, that distance, or mark it in some way, like a piece of chalk or something. Once you've found the right length and the spacing, and you've adjusted it, you've tightened it up or loosened it off, and you've made it nice and comfortable, every time you go to that D-ring, it's in the right place. Take it all off and then try it on again a few more times before you trim and take off any excess webbing, because yeah, you can't put it back on once you've cut it. So yeah, put it on, try and feel for it, make sure it's a comfortable kind of fitness, and yeah, do all your stretches, just make sure that you can move around inside of it without rearranging anything delicate. Then once you're sure you're at the right length, leave a few centimeters beyond that tri-glider so that it isn't likely to slip through, and then melt that cut edge so that it doesn't fray. Try to make it as flat and smooth as possible, because any sharp points or rough sections can rub when you're finning and damage your wetsuits or yeah, your delicates. If you have a V-shaped crotch strap, it's pretty much the same, but you just do it twice. Just keep them even lengths and in like the right space. So unless you do like lots of squats only on one side and you're bigger on one side than t'other, but yeah, try and make it as even as possible. It is honestly worth checking your BCD to see if it can have one fitted. Some recreational BCDs do have the actual attachment points, but they don't come with the crotch strap as standard. It's a little unusual at first when you're first like using a crotch strap, but you get used to it quite soon, and the extra attachment points are really handy at times. Look at the bottom of your backplate of your BCD. Some do have slots molded into them, and if there is a pair on the outside instead of just one in the center, I would recommend a V or a Y-shaped crotch strap. It's just 2 attachment points, and yeah, it just makes it a bit more comfortable because you're like spreading the force, and yeah, you get those 2 D-rings as well. Remember to check out scuba.com. They have a bunch of prefabbed crotch straps and everything else that you could possibly want or need to go diving in whatever waters you plan on dipping your toes into. I can't say that I've ever made my own crotch strap. I've always just bought prefabbed ones because it's just much more convenient. But hopefully after this, you can be a little more confident in investing and fitting your own. Yeah, just look for that horizontal slot. It is definitely worth it. Yeah, if there is one, then you should be able to fit one. If there's anything else that you'd like me to cover to do with scuba diving, obviously, in the future, please let me know down in the comments section, and of course please visit our magazine. We've got Christmas coming out, believe it or not. It's only what, 4 months away now, and a magazine subscription is a lovely gift. If you found this video useful, then please like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.